mentioned that, after age locking himself, he became more hiao also. Have time to do a lot of selfie. If you are following him on Facebook or Instagram, you'll be able to see a lot of his own selfies. And of course, like Fen was saying that I'm soft-spoken. Honestly, I think if my husband was here, my kids are here, I think, they will beg to differ. Now it's school holidays, right? So my house is like a zoo. I have 3 boys, so not only I have 2 big boys, running around, I have a baby at home who is always fighting for attention as well. But I think tonight I'm very, very thankful that, because of New Skin, right, I'm able to, decide when I want to spend time with them, correct? Okay, so before I begin, right, okay, of course, I want to, share with you my little story. So I hope that tonight with my little story, especially, with the mothers, any mothers here, can I have a show of hands? Yeah, okay, shall we give all the mothers here a round of applause, right? Honestly, I think it is not easy. Okay, before I begin, I think, I want to tell all the men here, tonight my story, some of the things maybe it doesn't sound so nice to you, but I can assure you after tonight, you will love me more because, some of the things that I will share with you, if your wife is with you, right, I'm sure that, you will also nod your head as well. Okay, so, for me, right, I came from a family of 5. I have an older sister and a younger brother. So as you can see over here, right, this is actually the last photo that I took as a family. You can see that my mom, she's sick. So she passed away at the age of 46 because of colon cancer. So when she passed away, I was still in my university. I was in the last year of my university. So actually my family, financially we are not very, so-called very strong. In fact, at the age of 16 years old, I started giving tuition. Because of the fact that, I have to earn my own allowance and, of course, school fees my parents pay for me. But, when I look back, right, I didn't think that, as a child, I felt that, I was so-called deprived or anything. To me, it's just very normal because my parents are working. But, of course, when I look back, there are times that I actually wish that, my mom, my parents actually would have more time for me as a child. But I think I'm also very thankful because of this family upbringing, right? It gave me, a very strong so-called belief that, as a woman, whether, we are married or single, financial independence is very, very important. Am I right? Yeah, so, of course, when I grew up, right, because being the middle child, middle child syndrome tend to be the most rebellious one. But I think I turned out fine. At the end of the day, I'm always the one that my parents are a little bit more worried because of the fact that I'm more playful and I always don't like to study. I'm always very last minute, and I almost was even on the waitlisted to go into to university. So I still remember this episode whereby my parents were very worried. Hey, don't go uni lah, just go poly, But because of 爱面子, right? Ego. I told them, no, I want to go university because my sister, she is a high flyer in school. So, I still have a little pride in me that, I want to show them that I'm able to do well, right? So, yeah, like I mentioned, so I graduated from NUS. So nothing fantastic, honestly, because like I said, I was waitlisted to go into university, and I just graduated with a normal degree, right? But when I graduated, it was in the year of 1999. So that's actually the year of financial crisis. But I was very lucky to be able to find a job within a very short period of time in banking. So my first job was actually a FX trader in a Japanese bank, right? So I started off as a junior trader, and subsequently I managed to find a job in private banking because somebody told me that, hey, in banking, right, if you want to make the most amount of money, you should go into private banking. So that's how I actually got in through word of mouth because I had a friend who was working in private banking, right? So my last job before I started New Skin, I was a portfolio manager in a Swiss private bank, right? So life was very good. In fact, right, if you ask me, I think, we had a decent income, both me and my husband. And after work, we were usually, for me, I would be able to knock off work at 5:30. But because of the fact that, me and my husband, we were working in the same bank, so I usually would wait for him. But the latest we leave is about 6:30 because of the fact that my children then was a baby. He was in the infant care. So as we know, infant care in Singapore, they close at 7, right? So I remember the journey whereby, our office is just right in front of the ECP lah. So, we always dash into ECP, but sometimes when ECP have jam, then, I will gonna find lah, So this is, I think, the real life and the real fact of, I think motherhood, especially people who are working, right? So, for me, right, my life after work is, I spend time with my baby, and usually they go to sleep by 8 o'clock, and then I'll be watching my Korean drama. Anybody here also like me? Right, Korean drama, very addictive, right? Once you start, cannot stop, right? And then weekends, you also want to chase, right? So that was my life, actually. And sometimes on weekends, I'll be playing mahjong with my friends, right? And, like with my baby, of course, with me. And then, I train him to be able to take the noise and sleep at the same time with all the mahjong noise. Yeah, so for me, right, I felt that life was very good because I was also able to go for holidays a few times a year. And in banking, every year we need to take a compliance leave of 2 weeks, right? So we are forced to take a 2-week leave. Very nice, right? So usually we will have at least one long holiday. So, because my husband's not from Singapore, so usually we will go back to Switzerland where he's from. And then, of course, there will be other opportunities where we will try to arrange for, different trips and all that. So in 1 year, I would say that I would have about 3 to 4 trips at least, yeah, with one long trip. And honestly, if you ask me, right, there's really no reason for me to change because I felt that, yeah, this is my life forever. I will just work for the bank and get a decent income, and then just go home and be a good mother and a good wife, right? And also be a good daughter, by seeing my dad maybe once a month. Sometimes if times are good, if I have time, then it will be maybe 2 times a month, right? So to me that is normal, right? So of course how I actually came across Nu Skin was because after my firstborn, Cedric, right, 1 year after I had him, I put on about 10 kilograms. So can you imagine when you're in the bank, everybody ting sui sui one, right? So, but there I was, wearing my maternity clothes, walking around, because I still had about 10 kilograms to shed. Right, so I was quite depressed, honestly speaking. But, I always give myself the excuse, I have no time to exercise, and by the time I go back home, I'll be with my children. I mean, it's kind of an excuse, but, the truth is I really also think that I have no time, right? So, how I actually began, it was actually through this one set of weight management program. So I remembered, through our $10 million circle member, Miss Lilian Ong, right? Because of her, right? Because honestly, if you have heard the story she has said before, I have been a customer for many years. In fact, I was the one who canceled her ARO, right? Heard before now, right? The very famous story that she has been saying, right? So I was one of the people that she was prospecting many years ago, but who didn't join her because honestly, I didn't feel like it was my cup of tea. For a fresh graduate, then I felt that, I better climb the corporate ladder, right? A bit atas, I think Singaporeans are like that, right? So being in a bank, I felt that, corporate is something that I wanted to be in. And I felt that, this industry is an industry not professional enough for me. Right, I felt that, this is maybe for people my mother's generation, and then, I felt that it's something for people who maybe cannot find something for themselves to do, right? So what actually happened was I looked for her because I knew that Nu Skin has a weight management program. So she told me about the weight management program, and then I decided to embark on it. And I went home happily telling my husband, sharing with him, hey, I'm going to embark on this program. Right. So guess what was his reply? His reply was, don't waste your time and effort. Go to the gym. Familiar, the man here? It's not because he doesn't want to pay for it, because he genuinely thinks that if you want to lose weight, you should go to the gym, right? So my reply to him then was, I'm sorry, I'm not asking for your permission. I'm just informing you that I'm going to start this program, right? So to me, right, it really reaffirms my belief that why as a woman, whether we are married or single, financial independence is so important because today with financial independence, we can buy whatever we want. Even if your husband not happy, it doesn't matter because it's our own money, right? So sorry, but I mean of course, I'm a very modern woman, Why do I say that? Because if my husband gives me money or buy me presents, I will never reject. Okay, so being financially independent is one thing, but accepting money from your husband is another thing, lah. Okay. So, so this was me 3 months after the program. Okay, and in between these 3 months, right, in fact, 1 month after I started the program, my husband also took on the program because he saw that I was losing weight healthily and I was still eating as per normal, right? So basically, both of us actually lost weight very well. He lost about 7 kilograms, right? And then, of course, because of our transformation, many people in the bank, they started to notice our transformation and they started to ask, hey, what did the two of you do? What happened? Right? Like suddenly two of you like dropped so many sizes and all that. So that's how I actually started to refer customers to Lillian. Right? I was a very happy customer because I thought that, hey, since the product is so good, right? If people are asking, right, why not? So one of them is actually our MDC Pao Yan, actually it was Danny's wife who came to me or came to Pao Yan and then asked about the product and said, hey, can you go and ask your friend, ask Pao Yan, ask your friend, how she actually lost weight. So that's how everything got started. So actually from the beginning until now, we have actually more than 100 customers directly and indirectly because of the fact that, I embarked on this program. So I think we should really give our fantastic product a round of applause, right? So, as you know, right, I had a baby. I have a baby this year. So this is my transformation after I started taking the product 2 months after I had my baby. So it's very safe. I was still breastfeeding, right? So, and, honestly, with no exercise, I actually lost weight. For me, right, I think because of the fact that we have very good foundation because we have been taking our products. Actually, in the 2nd month of my childbirth, right, I've already lost back to my original weight before pregnancy. But the fact is, because of the 3 children, all the muscles are loose. The tummy is a bit difficult to go back. So I decided to take the program, and then it actually helped on the tummy as well, right? So, and of course, like I was mentioning just now, right, I had a very good results, but honestly, I didn't really feel that I should embark on this business, even though I had a lot of customers in the bank, taking, then called the TRA, right, because I thought that life was very, very good. There was no need for me to, embark on something else because I'm so comfortable. And for the fact that, if somebody wants, I will just refer lah. So, but what actually happened was shortly after I completed my program, I was also pregnant with my 2nd child. This is Lucas, right? So so what actually changed was actually Lucas, he was a little bit premature. So his lungs were not fully mature and he had to be in the NICU for a week. So for me as a mother, I think any parents, right, even if you're not a parent, when you see a baby in this kind of state, I think it will be very heartbreaking. Right, more so for the parents. So for me, right, it really shook me up. And then, I really started to ask myself, like life is so fragile. Anything can happen. And it really brought back memories whereby, I really didn't have a lot of time with my mom. She passed away at the age of 46. And that was one of the biggest regret that I really have, that I didn't have much time with her. So I asked myself, right, today, because of this situation, right, do I really want to continue with what I was doing? Or, actually family time is actually very important as well, right? So, in fact, right, after I went back, when I went back home, I think about 2 months into the confinement, I even flew to US convention, right, to take a look at this business because, Lillian was telling me, very often she will share with me, but then she was telling me that if you really want to take a look at this business, you should come and take a look at the global setup, right? So even though I was doing my confinement, my maternity leave, I decided to fly over to take a look because I feel that, in order for me to really embark on this business, I want to see for myself what kind of business and what kind of company I'm joining, right? So this was my first wake-up call. So 4 months after my maternity leave, right, I went back to work. Right, so what happened was actually, during that time, it was coming to, I think, the beginning of the year or end of the year, I can't remember. So it was during the time of the performance review, right? Anybody still working here? Can I have a show of hands here? Right, so every year, the company will do a performance review for all of you, right? So same. So do you know that, right, in our children, when they are studying, they have ranking, 1 to 40, for example. Even in your office, when you do performance review, your bosses actually rank you 1 to 40 as well, but they don't communicate with you what is your ranking. But in my bank last time, right, they actually communicated to me what was my ranking. So they told me that, we acknowledge you've done a good job. Your peers have also said that you have done a good job, but because of false ranking, we have to put you below, put you needs improvement, So basically it's below average lah. So obviously when I think back, right, I knew what was the reason. They will never tell me it's because of my maternity leave, but I knew that it's because of my maternity leave. Because if I think back, if I'm the boss, right, somebody is out of office for 4 months, and then you need somebody to back up. A backup to handle the job, you would probably do the same thing as well. But of course, I also realized that, why is it that I need to leave my destiny in the hands of other people? Why is it that, another person has to decide whether, my performance is good or not? Why is it that this person has to decide whether I deserve 6 months or, 1 month of bonus? Honestly, right, after performance review, everything is related to bonuses, it's tagged to your performance review. So a lot of us, after working for 1 year, what's the time that we are all looking forward to? Is bonus period, right? So, for the fact that if your performance review is being affected, your bonus will definitely be affected as well, right? So you are not your performance appraisal. It does not define you as a person. It is not your self-worth. But the truth is, right, many a times, we are also affected by how people rate us in the company, for example, right? So even though we may not think that we are that bad, but because of the fact that people give us that kind of rating, we are being affected, like it or not. Right, so really I want to borrow your hands to thank these 5 people over here. Right, they are really my angels in this journey. Without them, honestly, I would not be standing here tonight because, I am not somebody who likes to sell things, like what I always thought when I first started doing this business. I'm not somebody who enjoys being on stage, for example. But I think today, right, it's because really of these people and because of ST. That's why, I also discover the best side of myself as well, right? So, and of course, during that period of time, Lillian came to me and she asked me this very question, which I also want to ask you back, right? If you continue doing your current job, would you achieve financial freedom and more importantly, be able to spend more time with your family? The truth is, right, the thing is, of course, we all need to survive lah. We need to work for money. Everybody has a family. But the truth is, you need to really ask yourself, right, if you continue, besides getting money, what other things are you able to achieve? Are you able to really, achieve true happiness by, spending more time with your family? And, if you have children, with your children, if you have aged parents, our parents, right? So I know that when she asked me this question, right, I know the answer. And I'm sure many of you know the answer as well, right? And of course, I didn't say that. Robert Kiyosaki said that a man is not a financial plan. A lot of people, they actually ask me, hey, actually, you can also stay at home. Your husband can jolly well afford for you to stay at home and be a full-time mother. But I think, as a working mother, as a mother especially, I think it is a real struggle for many of us. We really think that it is possible to manage both family and be, financially independent and so-called manage a career at the same time. But the truth is, right, something's got to give if we really want to do well in any one of it. It is not possible to do well in both. If you want to climb the corporate ladder, you probably have to spend more time in the office, and then that will take away time from the family, right? And if you want to spend more time with your family, the truth is you probably have to leave on the dot 6 o'clock, 6:30 every day. But what does it mean for your bosses? It means that, you are just doing your bare minimum and then you're going back home. But whether is it true or not, it's up to them to decide, but we know for ourselves, right? So for me, right, I'm very, very clear, even though my husband is able to afford for me to be at home and be a stay-at-home mother, right? But I know that at the end of the day, right, I rather, be independent financially because I also have gone through hard times when I was young. I've seen how my parents actually quarrel because of money, right? And for the fact that we didn't really have a lot of money to begin with. So I didn't really want to go through that. And also I know that, I want to give the best education for my children, because when I was young, I remember that, I wanted to learn piano, but I knew that my parents could not afford it. I just kept quiet. I didn't say anything. So I didn't want my kids, right, to go through the same thing. Of course, it's just a little bit exaggerating. I'm sure, if they want to learn piano, I can afford it. But what I'm trying to say is, right, if they would one day tell me, Mommy, I want to go overseas and be a doctor, I'd study to be a doctor, right, I can be very confident and tell them that, yes, please go ahead. You have our blessings, and, we will definitely support you wherever we can, right? So, and of course, when I was working, right, our definition of success is, the bigger your car, the bigger your house, all this would define us, our level of success. It is very normal. Even for myself, right, that was how I defined success, because of the fact that we didn't have a big house to begin with, and we never had a car in my family. So for me, right, if I can achieve all these four, luxury items, and even climb the corporate ladder, it is being very successful. And in actual fact, I think, there is a certain level of success. There's no doubt about it, right? But I think the question to really ask, right, is even though, we have that level of success, it's really not how much money that we are making every month. It's how long you're able to make this money, right? The truth is, maybe, we are all drawing very decent income, but the question to ask yourself, what if one day, you are being offered a retrenchment letter? What if one day, touch wood, if something happens, right, you lost a job? And what is going to happen after that? I think that is a very, very important question to ask yourself, right? So true success, true happiness lies in freedom and fulfillment. So for me, right, I really feel that freedom is very priceless. What do I mean by that? I want to be able to decide that because it's school holidays, I will spend time at home and be with my children. I want to be able to choose to go for my manicure and pedicure on weekdays and not to squeeze with all other people queuing up for their appointments on weekends. I want to choose not to be involved in politics in the office, but sometimes we have no choice. We have to be involved, right? And I want to choose not to go to work because I am sick, right? But sometimes we have no choice because there is nobody helping us in the office and we are forced to go to office, right? So to me, right, all this freedom, the freedom of choice to choose what we want to do, and more importantly, to be able to choose what we do not want to do is very, very important. Okay, and of course, right, Lillian was telling me, because I was very hesitant at the beginning. I wasn't sure if this platform was for me because, it's very uncomfortable, honestly speaking. You ask me to buy something, I'm very good at it. I will be the best, customer if you sell me something, right? But to me, right, this business is about selling. I tell her that, I cannot sell. And, I also told her that I honestly cannot see myself doing this because I've been in banking for the whole of my life. Right? So she told me this question. Even if today you don't join New Skin, imagine if you decide to change to another bank, right? You also need to give yourself at least 3 to 5 years to build up your own credential. Right? So, but today, right, you have been working in banking for more than 10 years. So what is another 3 to 5 years to build up a business for yourself? Right? How many of you have been working for more than 10 years over here? Can I have a show of hands? Right? So actually, in all honesty, a lot of us have been working for other people for more than 10 years. So what is another 3 years? Right? Honestly, 3 years, if you ask me, last time if I would still continue another 3 years in my bank, I know what is my end result. Probably another 2% increment, Right? So when she told me that, I felt that, actually, yeah, 有道理. I feel that it makes sense, Maybe I should really give myself 3 years, to take a look at this business and then, to really build it up for myself and see how this thing turns out to be. Right? And of course, a lot of people, they also say that, why New Skin, right? There are so many companies out there in the market. And obviously we all know, even across the road, there's an A company, right? So, but of course, for me, I'm a very rational person. I want to see for myself the kind of market that is available to us. Right? Today, right, we are in the beauty, health, and wealth industry. If you ask yourself, out of 10 people, you can ask 10 people, are you happy with how you look? I think 11 people will tell you not happy. The 11% is ourselves, correct? So honestly, right, if you ask me, beauty industry is a very, very big industry. and health industry. Right? Today, as long as there is McDonald's, there is KFC, there is Pao Pao Cha, there is our business. You know, people all want to be healthy. But of course, you know, we are tham siap, but we still want to be healthy lah, right? So as long as there are all these fast food restaurants, there will definitely be a market for all of us. And of course, you know, today, right, many people are looking to find opportunities. They are looking for passive income, right? So over here, what we are providing is also an opportunity for many, many people. So for me, right, when I saw this, I feel that, you know, right, today Nu Skin is really, you know, focusing on all these things. That's why, you know, I feel that this is something that I can see myself in it. And of course, you know, I'm a banking person. I like facts and figures, and I'm sure many of you do as well. So even today, right, UBS research is telling you that, you know, obesity is going to be on the rise. Right, over here you can see, right, 3% of the global GDP, you know, the obesity approaches 3% of the global GDP. And of course, you know, for us, right, we belong to the treatment companies, right? Honestly, I don't think anybody wants to, we belong to a prevention company. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people want to do so-called seek help after things happen. Many people would rather do prevention, and this is exactly what we are doing, right? And of course, over here, right, 40% at the bottom, 40% of the world could be overweight by 2030. Can you see that? So statistics, to me, right, statistics do not lie. And of course, over here for me, what is very important is, you know, the health and wellness industry is, you know, the investability is considered high. Right, so what do you see? Even banks are telling you that this is where the future is going to be, right? This is where the market is going to be, like it or not. And you know, today, right, with the kind of food that we have, the kind of quality of food that we have, this is actually the industry to be in. And of course, for me, I like the fact that I joined a proven risk-free platform. What do we mean by proven? Right, to me, proven means that, you know, it has more than 30 years of history, right? And of course, for the fact that, you know, there's a lot of success stories that's being shown to us as well. I do not want to join a company who has just started up. Like for example, yesterday I received a phone call from a customer. She was telling me, hey, you know, I want you to meet this person from KL. You know, he used to have supplement company, and today, right, he so-called left the company, and then he came out to set up his own. So I feel that, you know, there could be some opportunity for you to, you know, to link you up, and maybe you can take a look at this business since, you know, you are doing well in Nu Skin. So for me, my first reply to her is, you know, I'm sorry, I know I will not join him. But if you want me to talk to him to see, you know, how I can help him or whatever, maybe I can meet him. But for me, I'm very, very clear that today, right, I'm not here to be the 001, because I know that being the 001 is not easy, right? Because you have to start everything all over again. But over here, right, Nu Skin has been around for more than 30 years, and you know, everything is provided for us. We have a very strong research team. We have, you know, our logistics is very strong. You know, we have so much so-called backing from our company. The only thing we really need to do is to really invest time into this business ourselves, right? And of course, risk-free, because for the fact that, you know, you do not need to have any startup capital at all, right? So with this, you may say, yeah, you know, but you spend that $2,000 on your first set of program, right? But to me, honestly, whether I do the business or not, I will still take the program because I wanted to lose weight, right? So for me, right, I look at it as, today, even if I have that kind of money to spend, right, am I willing to fork out that money to do a business that, you know, doesn't guarantee any success, right? And number two, global limitless opportunities. And as you know, right, my husband's not from Singapore, so there could be any possibility, there could be a chance that, you know, at any point in time, one day he tells me that, oh, let's pack up and go back to Switzerland. So imagine if I have a traditional business, right, can I just say pack up and then I leave, go back and then start all over again in Switzerland? It's going to be very, very difficult. But today, right, because of the fact that Nu Skin is around in the world around the world in more than 50 countries, right, I can happily say that, you know, even if today we want to move to Australia, we want to move to, you know, any part of the world, I can continue my business there. So, and of course, recently we all know about this Hong Kong case, right? The Hong Kong situation, the political unrest and all that. And the truth is, right, many people are trying to get out of Hong Kong. They're trying to move out of Hong Kong because of the uncertainty in the country. But imagine if you have a business in Hong Kong, and you have a factory, for example. Can you just say that, okay, I'm going to close the factory and then move everything back to somewhere else? It is not possible. It is not so mobile, right? So for me, right, I really was attracted by the fact that, this global limitless opportunities, because I feel that, there could be a likelihood that one day, I might not be staying in Singapore anymore, right? And of course, number 3, the passive and exponential income, right? Today, I think many people are attracted by, passive and, exponential income. But the truth is, right, what kind of industry allows us to have this kind of, passive and exponential income? Maybe unless if you are a very talented movie star or a talented singer, right? Then you start to collect royalties, for the rest of your life, right? But, the truth is many of us, we will not be able to do that, right? And even like recently, beginning of the year, my husband bought tickets to Pet Shop Boys, whose era? Anybody's era. Right, my husband's into concerts lah. So I think it was in March after I gave birth. So he bought Pet Shop Boys. I said, they very loud already, still singing. So okay lah, he bought the tickets, I went with him. Then I really see, this old man, 60 years old, singing, and he's a singer lah, okay? So he's singing and dancing. But to me, I find that it's very sad. Because, right, imagine at the age of 60 years old, you still have to, come out and sing. Not because of the fact that, you really love singing, but because I think they need money lah, right? So for me, right, I feel that, passive income is really very important. I don't want to work until, 70 years old. I want to make sure that, I'm able to retire young and I'm able to so-called enjoy life while I'm young, right? So honestly speaking, right, Nu Skin is the only platform, other being a singer, right? I think it's too late to be a singer and I can't sing anyway. So, right, so that's able to provide me this kind of outcome. Okay, and of course, right, coming from a bank, right, Nu Skin is listed in the New York Stock Exchange. For me, that is very important because, for the fact that I want to know that everything is being accounted for, right? Whatever expenses, whatever profit margin, and whatever is being so-called being communicated, and we are able to find all these figures, right? And of course, top 8 hyper growth company. Today, right, if you join a company, you want to make sure that the company that you are joining is making money, right? Because only when the company is making money, then we are making money, correct? Imagine if you join a company who is not making money. Honestly, I don't think, there will be any chance for us to make money as well. And in the credit rating, Dun & Bradstreet, we are 5A1. And of course, in Forbes, right, we are the 100 most trustworthy companies. So, friends, you see for yourself, right? Today, a lot of people say MLM, not professional. But honestly, if it's not professional, how can we actually be in the top 100 most trustworthy companies? You ask yourself, the company that you're working for, are they in the top 100 trustworthy company or not? No, right? So actually, right, if you ask me, I also realized that for the fact that this professionalism, to do this professionally actually starts with us. Right, as long as we do we handle everything professionally, people will never say that we are unprofessional. And honestly, up till today, right, I've never heard anybody say that, I'm doing the business unprofessionally, right? And of course, we create 1 millionaire every 3 days, right? So it's also not about how much money they are making, but I think more importantly, right, you can see that this is achievable. For me, that is very important. I want to know that whatever time and effort that I invest into the business, right, it is achievable. I think very simple. A simple thing to ask yourself, you look at your bosses. Your outcome, if you're still working, your outcome will be your boss's outcome will be your outcome, right? Basically, do you want your boss's outcome? Many a times, I think we don't want the outcome because they're working very late all the time. They are fighting fire all the time. And then, work so hard, but at the end of the day, right, maybe, they are not being rewarded for, your effort as well. So for me, right, I want to know that, if I join this company, what is the probability for me to succeed? something happens. Okay, and of course, a lot of people tell me that, I don't like to sell. Honestly, that was also what I thought at the beginning. I thought that, this is the business of selling. But actually, right, what we are doing here is we are actually doing a franchise business. What is a franchise business? Like, for example, you look at McDonald's, you look at 7-Eleven, right? So basically, McDonald's, they are just using burgers, they are just selling using burger as a media to do a business, as a franchise business. So today, right, what we are essentially doing here, right, we are actually, using the product as a medium to actually build a franchise, a global franchise for ourselves as well, right? So, for me, right, honestly, I don't have that kind of money to start a franchise, to buy a franchise from McDonald's, right? But over here, as long as you're able to invest your time and effort, right, you will be able to have a result as good as a franchise. And the best part is you don't need to pay them a single cent, right? So when I understood this so-called this equation and this business model, right, I realized that actually, for me, I actually misunderstood this industry because I always thought that, this is something just about selling, and I feel that, it's not something for me. But today, right, when we come into the business, honestly, any businesses that you are in requires you to sell. Even if you're not in, and you say, yeah, but I'm not doing business. But today I tell you, your son tells you, Mommy, I want to go McDonald's. But you have to convince him why you cannot go McDonald's, because McDonald's is unhealthy. You cannot have McDonald's every day, right? So when your boss tells you that, you need to finish this report today, but you have to tell your boss that today, it's not possible for me to finish it today. I can only finish next week. So this is also, managing this kind of objections is also a kind of selling as well, like it or not, right? Today, if your husband tells you, oh, let's go for a movie, you say, I don't feel like going for a movie. I want to go for dinner instead, right? So like it or not, today we are all into selling, but it's just a matter of whether you acknowledge it or not. Right, and of course, Warren Buffett, we all know him, right? He's very famous in the financial world, right? He says that if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, right, you will work until you die. You ask yourself this question, right? Actually, when I look back, when I graduated, and now that was maybe 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago when I graduated, my starting pay, and now the graduate starting pay, honestly, if you look at it, the increment is not really a lot. But you look at the property prices all around the world, right? Not around the world, but the property prices 20 years ago in Singapore and now, it has shot up so much, right? The cost of living has gone up so much. But why is it that our income is not catching up with the cost of living, right? So honestly speaking, our era and our children's era are very, very different, right? My parents, maybe, my dad, maybe, for us, we still believe in, providing for our parents. But when we look at our children, we know for the fact that, right, their life is going to be very, very tough next time. For me, I will never expect my kids to actually look after me because I know that it's going to be a very tough time for them. So it is very important to make sure that, right, I have enough to provide for myself. Right, and if I have anything remaining, then of course I will leave for them lah. But so the truth is, right, we need to really find a solution for ourselves because with today's technology, medical advancement, right, we could very well be living up to 80, 90 years old or even 100 years old, right? So, and of course, that choice decides destiny, right? This is something that I want to show all of you, right? I've mentioned some of the things just now. So basically, if you're an employee, assuming everything soon, every year soon you get an increment, which is not possible for me. In my case, I realized that it was not possible. So, right, I started working at the age of maybe 21, 22, right? And then by the time I retire, maybe say 65, right, my income drops back to zero. So I'm actually exchanging time for money, right? And the truth is, right, after 65 years old, what are we going to do? Right? Are we going to just rely on our CPF? And we know that it is not possible, it is not enough, right? And of course, we have another curve which shows us the self-employed, right? The self-employed, who are the self-employed people? People like the insurance agents, the property agents, even like, the doctors, the surgeons, right? They are considered self-employed. Why? Because they are also exchanging their time for money. They are earning an active income, right? And of course, like for example, when my gynae is not around, I'm not going to him because I'm so used to seeing my gynae, right? So the truth is, right, the moment they stop working, they go for holidays, right, their income will be affected as well. Right, and of course, we have the traditional businesses. So with the traditional businesses, of course, it's possible for us to make a lot of money. But in the downturn, in the economy downturn, it is also possible for us to maybe lose everything as well. Right, and of course, there's fixed costs incurred. And even if you manage to make $1 million, for example, you probably would have to reinvest back this money into the business. And you will not know when is your next million coming in, right? And of course, over here, right, what I see is, new skin can really give us exponential result, right? And of course, at the beginning, you will not be able to see a high amount of money. Like for me at the beginning, right, I was asking Million, hey, this income, very little leh. How am I able to so-called replace my banking income? Right, so she was sharing with me that, you have to be patient. Right, this business, right, is not like, planting vegetables. If you plant vegetables, when you finish the vegetables, you have to replant. No, what we are doing is we are planting durian tree. So what does that mean? So she said that, right, you just have to plant the tree and then you just have to faithfully water it. And then after 7 years, right, it starts to bear fruit for you every year. So this is the kind of result that we want, right? So for me, right, I was attracted to this. And of course, today, right, because of the success story that Rain and Angela has, it also gave me confidence that, it is actually doable. I think more importantly is it is also not about how much money that they have made. It's about how many people they have actually helped in this process. And for me, because I have no sales background, and I would say that, I really do not know anything about this industry. I want to know that today, if I join this industry, right, how I can actually learn and be like them. So, today our success over here can be duplicated, right? As you can see over here, Rain and Angela, before they become 20M, like this is before and after, you can see that, the longer they are in the business, right, actually everybody starts to look better. And in fact, actually, all the people who came up just now, right, when they were introducing the Blue Diamonds and the MDCs, a lot of them, you'll be surprised if you know their age. Huh? And of course, like I mentioned just now, they have helped many people to be successful, all over the world, from Singapore to Malaysia to Indonesia, so basically, and of course, China as well, right? So they have actually helped many people. That's why they are also successful now. And of course, Onggi, right, she's not here today, right? I always think that, the before photo looks a bit like Lao Fu Zi lah. Don't tell him that, okay? But I think more importantly is, right now, he looks very good, correct? So he's actually, through the transformation of the product, and he has stop laughing out here, don't tell him, Okay, so I think today he is one of the, he's dressed very nicely and he looks so good, right? And more importantly, he doesn't look like his age. Okay, and of course Lillian, my mentor, you can see, she used to be an ex-sales director. She's our 10M now, right? So basically, Lillian was Onggi's so-called client, insurance client. That's how they connected, and then got her into the business. And of course, we have Mr. Chua and Emily, who used to be an ex-listed company director and ex-accountant from Malaysia, right? So Mr. Chua used to look very, very serious. I mean, sometimes he still looks serious lah. But I think through the years, right, you have seen how he has changed, to smile a lot more, right, to be a lot more friendly. And of course, Nicholas and Kok Hong, right? So Nicholas used to be a very stingy man. He used to say he will never buy a shirt that's more than 100 ringgit. But today, he's able to actually bring the whole family for overseas trip every year and then fly them on business class. And whole family doesn't mean just him and the family and the kid, It's his parents and the wife's parents, right? And of course, we have Mr. Yap, Okay, and Mrs. Yap as well. So you can see, right, over here on the left-hand side, Mr. Yap looks a bit like, Beitu Bawan lah, last time the butcher. But now, I tell you, you can't tell that, right? He is a grandfather today, right? He looks so good, huh? And of course, Henry Ho, right? Henry Ho also used to be, I think, self-employed. I think he's a friend of Rain Ho lah. So that's how they actually connected. And today we have Selenium here as well, who used to be an ex-piano teacher, and Pauline, who used to be an ex-Air Force officer. Yeah, and Pan Guoqing and Jingyan from China. So, basically, right, this couple, or rather this lady, she used to be selling this Chinese hamburger lah, huh? Chinese, what is it called? 肉夹馍, yeah. So she used to sell 肉夹馍. So imagine today you go down to the food court, you go and prospect the lady, the auntie downstairs, right? She could potentially be your 5MDC as well, right? Oh, and of course, this is a very classic story, Yang Liuqing and Fu Baoni. So basically, Yang Liuqing used to be an ex-inspection officer. So what happened was he started doing the new skin business. I think after 2 years, right, he had stroke. He had stroke, and then he couldn't move anymore. But the thing is, right, when he started to be able to recover, he became a $1 million circle member. And when he started to walk, because of our products, right, he became a $5 million circle member. Honestly speaking, you ask yourself, what kind of platform allows you to do that? Today, if you are so-called disabled because of your job, or because of your health, and you can't work, I think after a while, your company will probably tell you that, you do not need to come back anymore, correct? Right? But today, because of this business, right, they are able to benefit from it. And of course, we have our very, beautiful couple, Gavin and Doris, right? Doris used to, talk so. I remember when I first joined the business, she talked very soft. But today, right, she is one of the most charismatic speakers on stage as well, right? And of course, Gavin is looking younger and younger by the day, huh? And we have Kim Xiong and Fong Yi, who's from Malaysia as well. So basically, right, what happened is, for them, when they first started doing, why they started doing the business is because, they always say that they cannot see their children grow taller. They can only see the children grow longer. Why is that? Because every morning they have to come out of Malaysia to Singapore to work. And then when they came out, right, it's usually about 4, 5 a.m. The children are still sleeping. By the time they reach home, it's already 9, 10 o'clock, and the children are also sleeping. So they never have a chance to actually witness the children grow taller, right? So honestly, I think for a parent, I think it's very important. We all want to be able to see the milestones of our children. And of course, Jin Xiong and Li Ting, right, ex-accountant. So I remember, the story whereby, when Li Ting actually got retrenched when she was pregnant. Can you imagine that happening to us? Right, it's actually very, very sad. But today, right, luckily because of New Skin, right, they started on New Skin. That's why, today they are also our $1 million circle member. Jason and Ferlin, they are Ferlin is actually the sister of Li Ting. So can you imagine actually in this business, right, how nice it is to be able to, bring your family in, what kind of business and what kind of platform allows us to have this kind of situation whereby all of us are able to embark on a journey together in a business. And honestly, for me, my sister is an accountant. I don't think I can ever be an accountant, right? But it's through this kind of platform, we are able to truly bring our families in as well. And of course, we have Miss Tan, right? Over here, right? You can see Miss Tan, last time so only lah, huh? But today, right? She's so fashionable. If you see her in real person, wow, she looks so good. And can you imagine last time she used to be an introvert? She's very quiet. But today, because of New Skin, her life has also transformed. And Derek, Tia, and Fran Ng, right? We all know them in Singapore. They are very prominent here. So, right, basically for them, right, Derek also felt that the pain when, the moment he came back home, he realized that the kid doesn't want to be with him anymore, just crawl away from him. Right? I think it's very heartbreaking for a parent. And Guo Tangping, she used to be an ex-businesswoman from China. Right, and Zhi Xiong and Lina, they started doing the New Skin business the moment they graduated, right? So actually, this business, honestly, if you ask me, is really for everybody. Okay, and of course, Gong Sen and Ming Fang. Gong Sen is over here tonight as well. So Gong Sen, right? If you have heard the story, last time he cannot talk one. You know, he will stutter. And then I even hear that I think there was an incident whereby, you know, when he was OPPing the customer actually took the file and look at it himself because he find that, you know, talk very slow. But today, you know, he is one of our, you know, most humorous speakers as well. And, you know, today he can speak so well on stage, right? Shall we give him a round of applause? Okay, and of course we have Alan and Pauline over here as well. You know, they are both from banking, right? So they are from Malaysia, but they have been staying in Singapore for many years. So today, right, through the business, right, they are also able to so-called go for holidays with their parents. Because last time, the only time they can see their parents is during Chinese New Year. And, you know, and because they are working in Singapore and they have children, so it's not so easy. But today, because of the platform, they are able to travel to see their parents and and go overseas as well with the parents. And of course, we have Ichiro and Don, who are our, you know, ex-professional dancers, right? And Li Hui. So can you see, manicurists can also become $1 Million Circle member. Next time, ladies, when you go and do your manicure, you can try to prospect them. This is what I always do. Anyway, you are stuck there for at least an hour, right? So you can just start talking to them. You never know, right? You see, even somebody like that. And honestly, I think she's in a small, very, very small town. The town that she stays in, there's only like 10,000 people living there, right? But today, she's also a $1 Million Circle member. And of course, we have our very beautiful Ibu Henny. She's a very successful businesswoman. Last time, I used to think that successful people will not come into the business. But today, I'm wrong, because you see, even such a successful person, right, also come into to do New Skin, because she realized that in her platform, she's not able to so-called provide success for her, the people that work for her. But today, through New Skin, right, she's able to help more people to become successful as well, right? And of course, we have Sun Chen and Yiling. Yeah, so they are also one of the youngest $1 Million Circle member. Yeah. And okay, so to me, right, why is it possible? How is it possible that all these people from different walks of life, they are able to accumulate such success? It's really all because of Success Together Worldwide. Honestly speaking, right, I have never seen MLM being done so professionally. And right, you can be assured that, you know, over here, you will be able to learn, you know, whatever that you need, from doing sales to leading a team, you know, to you know, as long as you follow the roadmap that is being painted out by Success Together, right, I can assure you that, you know, you will also be successful as well over here. And this is the success roadmap that I was talking about. So it's very important that, you know, you must follow this roadmap. Because last time I used to think that, yeah, too many classes, right? You know what, every day, you know, I was working part-time, then, you know, after work, I still have to come to learn. But the truth is, right, it is a very new industry. So even like, for example, in banking, it took me a few years to be good in what I was doing. So you have to give yourself some time to learn this profession as well, because it is not as simple as we think it is, right? As long as you're willing to learn and you're willing to change, right, I can assure you that you will also be successful over here, right? And of course, I find that it is very important if I want to build a global network, right? Today, right, we have similar classes like now, right? In every big city, most big cities of Malaysia and even Indonesia and Vietnam as well. Okay, and of course, you know, we have our support tools, which comes in the form of our success bag, right? You know, women like to buy handbag, right? So this is one handbag that you cannot don't buy. Okay, you must buy this handbag, because when you buy this handbag, right, it's able to help you to buy many LV bags also. Okay. Okay, so, and of course, you know, a lot of people say, "Aya, not now lah, you know, I'm so busy, I have no time." Right, why now? My question to you is, why not now? Right, that's never the best time to do this business, honestly. You know, when you think that, you know, oh, then and then will be the best time, but honestly, things don't happen the way you want it to be all the time. So for me, right, I was glad that, you know, I was so-called embarking on the business on a part-time basis by being a happy customer and referring, right? And today, because of the fact that I was not happy at work, I am able to just tell my boss, sayonara, and then I start to do this business. So you really do not know when, you know, this backup plan will need to kick in, right? And of course, we all know that the recession, the economy is not doing so well, right? And I'm sure you also have seen people around you maybe have been retrenched as well. It is very common, right? Just the other day, I was talking to a Grab driver. In fact, a lot of Grab drivers, nothing wrong with that. But you know, a lot of them, right, they lost their jobs. That's why they started becoming a Grab driver. And you know, the truth is, for I think above 50% of the people above 45 years old actually get retrenched. It is very, very common. If you go and ask your headhunter friends, you know, it is actually very common for people above 40 years old to get retrenched. And in fact, in my team, I also have some of my so-called business partners who got retrenched, but they're so happy because they know that, right, you know, other than, you know, having more time, they have a backup plan for them. And actually, one of them, right, the bosses was even very surprised and asked her, hey, how come people get retrenched? They are very sad. But today, right, I see that you like not affected, still very happy. Then inside her heart, she's thinking, of course lah, I have a backup plan already waiting for me, right? So you really do not know when you need this backup plan. Even a car has a spare tire. So we also need to have a backup plan, right? So yeah, over here we have so many stories where you see, you know, people, banks are retrenching, even the retail shops are not doing well. Right. And of course, today, right, we have velocity to help us to speed up our success. What does that mean? Right. You know, the fastest MDC that we have is about 4 years, 4.5 years. Today, because of velocity, we are able to surpass these people. Right. And honestly, if you ask me, right, as long as you are willing to, you know, put in the time and the effort, you can definitely be one of the fastest one as well, as long as you want it bad enough, okay? And to me, right, new skin is a gift. Why do I say that? Right, you know, before my firstborn went into primary 1, me and my husband decided to travel extensively in the year of 2014. So almost every month we were traveling, except for the month of July. He had dengue fever, so he was in the hospital. We spent our holiday in the hospital, right? So today, right, friends, if I'm still working in a bank, if I tell my boss, my son is going to primary school next year, so this year every month I want to take holidays. Is it possible? Not possible, right? Your boss will maybe ask you to go and fly kite, right? So, but of course, you know, my husband, he had to take sabbatical leave lah. You know, it's the cruel truth of corporate. So for him, he had to take sabbatical leave in order to travel with us, right? And of course, because of New Skin, I'm able to have an additional member in my family, right? Julian. So he was born in January at the age of 42. You know, can you imagine? Honestly, if I'm still in the bank, right, after I come back home, I'm so cui already, so tired already. I don't think I want to, you know, tell myself, hey, let's have another baby and, you know, to start all over again, right? No, it is not possible because I have no more energy. Right, but today, because of New Skin, I can decide. Okay, my husband has always been the one who wanted to have more children. For me, it's like, yeah, enough already lah. Right, but because when I turned 40, I asked myself, right, what would be the only reason why I do not want to have a kid? The truth is, right, actually, I just don't want to start all over again. But actually, I have the time. And financially, we can afford it. So that's why I told myself, if not now, then when. So I decided to also, you know, yeah, okay, let's try for another one. Hopefully it's a girl, but you know, yeah, it's a boy, right? So I said things don't always turn out the way you want it to be, right? So yeah, so I really want to thank New Skin, because if not for New Skin, I would not be able to enjoy this kind of life. You know, every day I can really see his milestones every day. Last time when I was in the bank, my 2 children, it will be my helper who tells you, oh ma'am, today he walked already. Today, you know, he has the first tooth. Everything is told to me by my helper. But today, right, I am able to witness for myself all the different milestones of my baby. Isn't that fantastic, right? And of course, the irony is actually after my third born, you know, shortly after that, I was announced to have achieved my $1 million circle member. So can you actually see the difference, you know, when I had my second child, whereby my performance review was being affected, and to my third one, whereby, you know, honestly, when I was pregnant, as all women know, like, sometimes you're very tired and all that. You had to rest at home, and at the age of 42, not easy lah, huh? So I took the liberty to rest at home sometimes. But imagine if I'm not in New Skin, right, I'm working for other people. My boss will probably be wondering what's happening, you know, and And honestly, I think my performance review will also be affected. And if there's a retrenchment coming up, I'll probably be the first one on the retrenchment, right? So, but today, right, because of Nu Skin, I'm able to really enjoy and have this kind of cumulative results. It's not about, how much money, we have accumulated in this journey, but it's really the amount of time and, the amount of quality time we can have with the family as well. And of course, undivided attention to each child. For all working parents, right, usually when you take leave, it's usually, wow, whole family go out and enjoy, right? Do you ever have the chance to say, okay, today I'm on leave, maybe I take number 1 out. And then tomorrow I take number 2 out. Cannot, because you have limited number of leave. But today, because of Nu Skin, right, I realized that, I can really decide, okay, I want to bring number 1 out or number 2 out. Because I realized that in actual fact, right, when I bring them out and I spend individual time with them, they tell me a lot more things. Right, my second one will tell me that, hey, mommy, I have a secret to tell you. But actually, he tell the same secret to the rest of the family also. But to him, right, he really appreciate that kind of quality time with mommy, right? And then, my older boy, he likes movies. So then, he asked me to bring him for movies as well. Honestly, without Nu Skin, right, all this will not be possible. And of course, I always say I have 4 sons, 4 kids. My husband is the oldest kid. So do you realize that actually our spouses also need time from us, right? But a lot of times, unfortunately, because of our work, because of our busy schedule, we don't really have that kind of luxury to spend individual quality time with them. So for me, right, I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to travel. Every year we will have at least 1 couple trip, be it long or short, right? So because I really think that, time away from the children is very, very important, because it is actually the moment where we can really have quality time as a couple together, right? And of course, like I said, right, I'm the rebellious child in the family, right? My parents, my dad's always very worried about how I'm doing. But today, right, because of Nu Skin, I think she is very fang-xing lah. And then, my siblings, they also recognize the fact that, I'm doing well, and then the fact that, I am the one who has the so-called the best quality of life amongst the 3 of them. And I think, for me, right, succeeding together with like-minded people in the business is also very important. Imagine in your work, right, do you think it is possible for you and your colleague to get promoted at the same time? Actually, it's not possible, right? It's either you or her, right? And then if it's you who get promoted, she will maybe, yeah, hey, congrats. But maybe inside her heart, she's also very sad because, she didn't get a promotion. But over here, right, this journey is so wonderful. When I succeed over here, right, and we succeed together, we are really genuinely happy for everybody and each one of us, right? And we are able to celebrate our success together, right? And of course, plan B for the family, right? I'm not sure if you actually, any one of you dual, so-called double income families, right? So actually, in today's society, it is very tough to just have one person working in the family because of the high expenses and the high cost of living, right? So when I first started doing the business, maybe 2 years, 3 years into the business, right, I remember there was a period of time when my husband, when he came back home, right, his face is like that one. Why? Very stressed at work, because he is a banker. Every year the sales increase by 20%, right? I don't think when you are doing sales, right, your boss will ever reduce your sales figure the next year, right? It's always on increase, at least 10-20%. So same thing for him. Every year, his budget, his target increases by 20%. But does it mean your bonus increase 20%? No, right? Sometimes also cannot cut, because even though he achieved that result. So he was actually very stressed, because to him, he viewed himself as a sole breadwinner. He thinks that, it is responsibility to actually take care of the family. But today, right, when he comes back home, he's like this. He's very zen. He's very zen because he knows for the fact that, right, we have a backup plan. Right, and recently we have a chat together. He was telling me that, honestly, when I first started doing this business, right, he was thinking to himself, this woman a bit crazy, I asked her to stay at home, she doesn't want to stay at home, and then on the contrary, she decided to go out and do something else. So inside his heart, he said, yeah, let her go, right, let her do whatever makes her happy. But he told me, right, he is so thankful for the fact that I decided to actually come out and do something on my own. Because today, if not for that, right, his stress level will remain very high or not, if not even higher. Right, so he is very thankful that, today, even if he knows that something happens, right, there is a plan B for him. And of course, I think, through this business, I also discovered the better part of myself. I never thought that I could be on stage speaking to a big crowd because honestly, I'm a very, I have stage fright and I don't really like to talk in front of a lot of people. But today, I think, because of this business, right, it really made me discover that it's not because I think I cannot, but it's because I maybe have lack of a bit of a confidence. But today, because of this business, right, it really helped me to build up my confidence as well. Okay, and of course, last time, right, I used to travel with my husband, right, on business trips. Whenever he go on business trips, it's me who travel with him. Right, today, he's traveling with me for my business trips to US, for example, right. And last time in the bank, people know me as, oh, that one is Philip's wife. Philip is my husband's name. But today, people know him as, hey, that is Phyllis's husband. Right. So, I mean, not that it means a lot, but actually when that happens, right, it actually struck me, hey, actually, the feeling is very different. When people know you as, hey, this is so-and-so's wife, or people know, hey, that is so-and-so's husband, it's very different, correct? Right. So, and of course, I really like the environment over here. Right, it's a very heartwarming environment. Last time, when I come into class, I will be sitting at the corner near the door because anytime, right, I want to sabo, right, it's easy for me to go. But today, right, I really love this environment because honestly, if not for this kind of environment, I will not be here today as well because I am in general quite a negative person. But because of this environment, it really taught me to be a more positive person. And it's because of this environment, right, that actually, so-called make me blossom as well. So, over here, right, I have my team who threw me a surprise party because of my achievement, my MDC achievement. Right, today I ask you, if you're working, if you got your promotion, do you think your colleagues will throw you a surprise party, buy you lunch or buy you dinner? No, right? I think they'll probably ask you, hey, when are you belanjaing us? When are you buying us drinks? I think that's more like it, right? But today, people actually bother to actually, throw surprises for me. And honestly, I'm really very, very touched by all these gestures. Right, and of course, how to get started. Success is as simple as 1, 2, 3. You just have to start with yourself by using the product. Why do I say that? In any businesses, if you don't take the product, right, it's very difficult for you to go out and share with people with conviction. Right, for me, right, I always believe that if I want to do a business, I want to try the product myself and make sure that, whatever I'm sharing is really, from the heart. Right, so, once you have started that yourself, I'm sure around you have 2 friends and 3 family members, and who you can help as well. And with that, right, you actually complete your brand representative, which is also called our executive. And when you actually achieve that, you will actually be able to also get about 5,000 income if you continue the momentum to do the 1, 2, 3, right? And of course, over here, right, what we are after is not just the 5,000 income, but what we are really after is the 6 levels of 5%, right? The network, the result of the network building. We are not here to sell, but at the end of the day, right, you have to recognize the fact that, right, in this business, the true freedom comes from the fact that if you start to build your network, and it's through this network, right, we start to, market our products through this network. And of course, over here, right, what I really want to do is also build a legacy for my family, right? In a lot of traditional businesses, right, it is actually not possible for us to so-called pass it down because maybe for the fact that your children are not interested in what we are doing, right? Or maybe for the fact that the business is not doing well, you also do not want to hand it over to your children. But over here, right, we have a true testimony of, how this business can actually be passed down as a next legacy for our next generation. So over here, right, Christine is actually a doctor, right? The mother, Dora, when she passed on, right, she passed the business over to Christine, and without doing anything, Christine actually achieved her $10 million circle member. So today, right, Christine continues to so-called continue her mother's legacy, right? Because she realized that actually her mother is helping a lot of people in this whole process, and she wants to continue to help more people like her mother. Okay, and for me, right, what is very important is I want to be a strong woman. So that, my daughter, I don't have a daughter lah, okay, will have a role model, and my son will know what to look for when he is a man. Okay, I'm not saying that, there's anything wrong to just be a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong. I always, it's full of admiration for full-time mothers. But the truth is, right, for me, I think, there are a lot more things, as women we can do, as mothers we can do, right? We want to be a role model for our children, right? Today, right, before I came out, my kids, they were asking, oh, so you're going to be a teacher again today, right? So I said, yeah, I'm going to be a teacher again today, right? So for them, right, they see that, oh, mommy is going out, not just, because they have no time with mommy, but they know that today when I'm going out, right, I'm really trying to also help more people in this whole process, right? And of course, the secret of happiness is freedom. The secret of freedom is courage. So when I first started this business, right, it took me a lot of courage to actually decide whether I want to embark on this journey or not, because it is not easy, honestly speaking. To step out of our comfort zone, it is really, really not easy. But today I can assure you, because of the fact that, right, I pluck out this courage to take this first step, I never ever look back. I realized that, right, this is a journey that, I have enjoyed and I will continue to enjoy, and I never want to go back to my previous platform anymore. And of course, I think honestly, if somebody like me, who is so ordinary, who doesn't like to talk, who doesn't like to sell, who doesn't like MLM last time, who didn't like MLM last time, if I'm able to do it, right, I think, many of you can also do it like me as well. And of course today, if not for, these two people, I think I will also not be here. I really also want to take this opportunity to thank, ST for giving me this opportunity to share my little journey with you. So, and I hope that, with this sharing, right, maybe it will start to, spark a little question in your mind that, yeah, maybe I should also make that step forward to be a little bit more brave, because you honestly just be a little bit more brave. You will never ever regret it. I can assure you that. Okay. With that, I end my sharing tonight. Thank you very much. I'm Phyllis. Thank you.
Wow, that was a wonderful heartfelt sharing, right? Okay. Now, I believe through Phyllis' sharing, you have come to one conclusion, that making the